Hey guys, Ken here. Ken Small Engines. It's a rainy Wednesday day here in New England. I've been getting some questions and comments from people that want to know how I quote things, how I quote a job, and how do I know how to quote and get parts and things like that. So this one's about that. I had a customer the other day, or some guy who got my name somewhere, got my number. He called or texted me, and he said, I have a certain tractor, Cub Cadet, yada, yada, yada. He said, here's my tractor. I want a full tune-up on it. And I said, what do you mean full tune-up? He goes, I want everything, belts, everything. I said, okay. So he said, can you give me a price? And I said, give me the serial number tag and model and serial number. He goes, oh, this is what it is. I said, no, give me the model and serial number tag. I want to verify what engine. I want to make sure I know everything about it. So when you're going to quote a job and you're going to do it sight unseen, make sure you have the model and serial number off of the tag on the unit, whether it's a push mower, a snow blower, whatever, so you know exactly what you're dealing with. Also ask, because I've had this happen, is it all original? I've had a guy who had a tractor. He had the motor replaced with something else, okay? And when they replaced it with a different brand type and everything. So when the guy brought it over, I didn't have the correct air filter for it, and he's like, oh, I thought you said, I said, whoa, you told me this is what you had. So now I know. Ask if it's been modified. If it's all stock and they've owned it since new, fine. But if they bought it secondhand, maybe have them send you a picture of it so that way you can confirm what it has. Because a lot of times on the newer mowers with the V-twin engines and some of these emissions engines, there are expensive air filters on some of these things, and it's not generic anymore, especially when you're talking the Kawasaki's and engines like that. Some of these air filters and pre-filters can get pretty expensive, and you want to have the right ones. All right. So once you know what it is, now you can say, okay, based on, I've been doing this about 21 years on the side business. I know how long it takes me to sharpen blades, change belts, this and that. If you see pictures and you see that there's a mound of grass and grass clippings and leaves in the mower deck, or if most mowers come in, push mowers with the bottom all full of grass, that takes time to clean. So what I do is when I quote a job, I'll tell the guy if it's a full service on a tractor, I'll say, look, I'm going to power wash it. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to take the deck off. I'm going to clean it all. And that way, when I put the new parts on, everything will be fine. I put it back together. If I clean everything off and I find an idler pulley that's seized, I find springs that are broken, I find holes in the deck, well, that adds to the cost, okay? Most of the time, guys will send you a text and say, or call you and say, well, I want a quote, and then you never hear from them again. I call those tire kickers. Those are the ones that are just looking for price. They don't care about quality. They don't care about anything, okay? And that's fine. That's why I don't spend a lot of time quoting these people. I'll give them what's called not a wag, a wild guess. No, I won't do a wag. I'll know what it's going to cost me, and I'll beef it up a little bit just in case. So one guy texted me the other day about that tractor. I never heard back from him, okay? But I said to him, are the people you're talking to using OEM or aftermarket parts, and especially the belts? And he's like, why? I said, well, just FYI, here's what it costs for the two belts on your tractor, the drive belt and the deck belt, about $100. And I sent him the price. And what does he do? He sends me back an Amazon.com listing for two generic belts. One was $19 and one was like $25. So $44, and now I know this guy is just out for low price. So I send him an email back. I said, look, you get what you pay for, especially with an MTD product, the Troy belts, the Cub Cadets, the Whites, anything with the MTD, their belts are always fractional. They're never full inch or half inch increments. And I've found on a lot of the cheaper MTD tractors that their deck belts, when you put the deck in the full up position, they work great. The minute you start going down and the belt starts to go, wonky like this on an angle between the motor and the drive and all that, they want to fall off if they're a little too big, okay? When you get the OEM belt, it's the correct length, which is generally, 5/16 or even a half inch up to an inch shorter. It seems to work better. So whenever I quote MTD equipment, Cub Cadets and all those, I will quote OEM belts. Now, people think, what's a belt? Well, you know what? just like oil filters and everything else. An air filter, yeah, who cares on an air filter? For the most part, okay, I could see that. Oil filter, well, I try and go OEM when I can, especially like on Kawasaki's and things like that. But then you see people say, well, why don't you just buy the Stens 24 pack? You know, it costs you $2 a filter and you charge $5 or whatever. Some people, some customers like to see the brand name on the filters. I have one customer, John Deere tractor. He will actually want me to buy the John Deere maintenance kit, okay, which to me is double the price of the same exact parts if I buy them individually, even the name brand parts. They put it in a box and say maintenance kit and charge you twice as much. But some people want that. Some people say, hey, get the LG 279 maintenance kit for my John Deere tractor and install it. That way the oil filter has an AM part number with the John Deere logo on it. That's what they want to see. That's okay. And the fuel filter has a John Deere logo on it. Even though it says made in India, it still says John Deere, and they want to see that. So when you're quoting, you have to feel the customer out first. If you know they're only going for price, you got to watch it. Like I said, if you order a non-OEM belt on certain engines, you don't want that guy coming back in a week and saying, you know what, it was mowing good for a couple days, now the belt keeps falling off. Well, here's the thing. If the guy, I had one customer, here's another story, customer says, I'll buy the parts, you just charge me labor. And I said, that's fine. But if anything happens because of your parts over the next week, month, I don't want to hear back from you. I said, if you want me to fix it, I'll have to charge you. I said, I order mostly OEM and I install it. And, you know, people say, oh, do you warranty stuff? When people say warranty, don't call me in a year and say, oh, I don't like the way it's running or I don't like the way it's running after a full season of cutting. Don't do that. But 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay, if something happens, sure. I'm going to make good on it, okay? But again, people that want to save money have to realize you get what you pay for on certain parts. Just like the guys that work on their own two-strokes, okay? They go to Amazon, they buy the 1995 tune-up kit, where you get the torch spark plug, you know, the air filter, 10 feet of fuel line, fuel fill, all this stuff, okay? I have so many of those people, they'll come over with a weed whacker or string trimmer or strimmer, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are in the world. And they'll say, here, Kenny, I bought the parts, just install them. And because what's it to rebuild a carb on a two-stroke, put a fuel line in, you know, what do you charge them? You know, 20 minutes labor. It's really not much to do it anyway. But when I see that box from Amazon, I say to them, look, I'll do it. And here's the price to do it. But keep in mind, I don't want you calling me, you know, in 3 weeks time saying, yeah, you know, it ran great for the first couple weeks, but now it's not. It's because of what you put into it. You put in those Chinese gaskets and those Chinese fuel filters and all that stuff. You get what you pay for. When it comes to two-stroke parts, only OEM gaskets and diaphragms and needles. I will not buy aftermarket. Ask any of us small engine guys on YouTube here. You start to work with the aftermarket diaphragms, I don't want to risk it. For a gasket and diaphragm kit that will cost me $450, okay, you're spending $2 versus $450. Is it really worth a couple of dollars to have the problem? No. So just take it from me, guys. When you're quoting jobs, know what your labor is going to be, charge the correct amount of hours on your labor, but do the homework on the parts. Make sure, especially if it's a long distance customer, a guy who's coming from far away or a guy you're delivering it far away, you don't want to call back. So when it comes to the critical parts like the belts, I use OEM most of the time. It's just, I find they work better. There's nothing against Stens belts or those belts you see at Tractor Supply with the Kevlar and all that. I have nothing against them. It's just that the sizes from the OEMs are always fractional and they seem to work better when you have the OEM belt. That's all. All right, that's going to be it, guys. You got any questions on quoting jobs, on aftermarket parts versus OEM parts? Shout me out. Put a comment in there, and like I said, I've got stickers available. All my subscribers, anybody want a sticker, send me your address, Ken Small Engines, with an extra S on the end at gmail.com. I will send you a sticker right away. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. I have global stickers. I mean, global stamps. I went to the post office today, U.S. Post Office, and I bought more of their global forever stamps. That means I could ship anywhere in the world forever. The postage won't go up on that. So anyway, shout it out, comments, questions, ring the bell, subscribe. Anything you want to know, let me know. Topics of videos, I plan on putting out some more. I have to learn my Vegas software. Hopefully my friend Mick Mower and Allie Mack will teach me how to use the Vegas software so I can get that out. But thanks all of you for watching. Good luck with your mower repairs. You got any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can. So take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.